Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for showing up today as we break down the spiritual aspects of our reality. Everything has a spiritual aspect to it, regardless of how silly it might sound. Reading beyond the veil, seeing beyond the veil. There's so many aspects to this, and literally everything that happens around us has a spiritual aspect to it. And so that's what we do here on this channel. We're breaking down the veil, making understanding of the things that are unseen. There's, of course, biblical precedent for all this, because some in the Bible did see beyond the veil. Now, today's show is going to be all about the controlled demolition of America in many different ways, shapes, and forms. Some physical, some spiritual. Now, I'm going to profile a brand new channel today. Now, I don't know the rest of this channel. I'm not endorsing the channel, but I will put a link to this video because this particular segment of the channel did a good job documenting what's going on in Ohio and the train derailment. This is part of the controlled demolition of America, and they're there on the ground interviewing people about what's really happening, stuff that you're not seeing in the mainstream media. Now, one of you sent me this link. I didn't search this out. One of you sent this to me, and I thought that I would profile that on our show today so you could understand what the people on the ground are saying about a mysterious fungus that seems to be growing on everything in the wake of this disaster. That way you can follow the investigation. This is called Status Coup News. They got 141,000 subscribers, and I actually really admire channels like this. I don't know, I'm sure there'll be someone, we live in a very divisive YouTube environment. It gets toxic sometimes, Someone will go investigate this guy and find out he's a new ager or something, and then they'll say I was promoting new age. Who knows? I try to stay positive, but in these days, it's very hard to do. You got channels making false accusations, trying to pick off larger channels just because they're large. Completely forgetting that we've been here for 11 years now, putting up videos every single week. We're much smaller than we actually should be. But it's easy for people to come in within the last 1 or 2 years and pretend like they know who all the shills are and everything, right? So when you see stuff like that, just report it. I know it upsets some of you guys to see some of this stuff circulating around. Just report it. That's what you have to do. Unfortunately, nobody wants to be a tattletale, but when you see that stuff going around, that's the best way you can handle it. So for this particular segment of this particular channel, I want to give them some recognition about this interview that they did with this woman who sees some kind of fungus growing on some of this stuff. Now, I'm not sure how they feel about copyright. I did not ask them permission to use this clip, so I'm only going to play a very few small segments, and then I'll link this channel in the pinned comment so you can see the full interview and all the rest of their work if you're interested in following what the people on the ground are experiencing in the after effects of this train derailment. Now, let me make sure we're connected, and I'll continue on with this. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming to the channel this morning. Now, let's listen to what they have to say here.
Not far away from where we're at right now. I guess, do you want to explain, you showed us a tree earlier.
So he says, you showed us a tree earlier. Now, of course, the tree is covered in snow and ice. You can't really see the fungus. I just want to be clear here. But we're going off of this woman's testimony, and she really has no reason to lie about this, right?
We'll have some footage of it to show viewers right now, but do you want to explain what we were seeing there? It was the tree stump just up the road.
And interestingly, it's a tree stump. So think about the spiritual significance of that. We are trees, right? What are they doing? They're cutting down the trees, cutting us down.
So all this white stuff here, seeping, it's hard to see with the snow, but this white stuff seeping on the edge of the tree.
I mean, she could be talking about that. That looks almost like ice to me, But I guess it's not. I guess this is what they're saying this is. So this is it right here. And, you know, these people aren't stupid. They live in the Northeast. They know what ice is compared to a fungus. So this actually is the fungus. This stuff seeping down off the edge of the tree. Wow. Now, why are we talking about this? Well, it's been a long investigation, hasn't it? Since last year, we've been talking about the fungus apocalypse coming. We started seeing chatter of this in the predictive programming all the way back to last year. We started decoding it. There's a playlist on funguses and molds. And then we had the CDC come out and say that there was a mold epidemic and fungus epidemic. They blamed it on COVID. They said that people had reduced immunity because of COVID. This is what's on the CDC website. But other people, you know, why didn't they come out with that like in 2020? Why was it 2020, almost 2022, before they came out with that? After a certain thing was made, right? So, weird times we're living in, right? So, people are starting to wonder. So, we were on this, and now it's mainstream news. They're saying there's a fungal mold outbreak happening across the world, and they have all kinds of reasons and excuses, from global warming to COVID to whatever else they want to make up. Right?
Interesting. And this tree had been cut down for a while, and these white kind of marks on it are new, basically.
Yeah. So she's noticing it. I don't know if anyone else is noticing it. If you guys know of any other testimonies and evidence to support this, please put it in the comments below. And I'll link this video, of course.
And I did question the EPA agent that was out here, and he kind of brushed off and said it was fungus. And I said, that's not fungus. Gotcha. Like, I know fungus.
Wow. So she asked an EPA agent. He looked at it and immediately blew it off without doing any tests. He already had a cover story ready to go. That's not fungus. Like, how do you know it's not? Did you do a test on it? How long would it take to take a sample of that?
It's not.
Right. So. And the EPA was taking samples, soil samples in this area and in the area we were just at. The area we were just at was about 2.
So this is Louis DeAngelis, independent journalist, status quo. Good job.
Miles or so away. We're now closer in, maybe I'm estimating a bit closer to the mile.
So that's pretty much the testimony of this fungus. Now, if you think this is a big nothing sandwich, look at what Fox News reported just hours ago. Scientists say nature's skeleton key could be the solution to toxic chemical spills and save East Palestine. Oh, mushroom expert says fungi could help clean up the chemical spill. Huh, I wonder if they already tried it. And that's what we're seeing growing out of stuff. Let's watch this video.
Them and dispose. So they're disposal expert and give mushrooms a chance.
Look at this guy. Oh boy.
I believe that micromediation can definitely benefit the town of Palestine, Ohio.
Mycomediation, which means fungal mediation. What could go wrong with that? Mix some chemicals with some fungus? Wow.
And its surrounding environment and the people. If we could do some testing and give mushrooms a chance to
Mushroom lives matter.
prove that this could work, it would benefit towns across the world.
He looks like he's got a mushroom growing on the top of his head.
Right, because this happens everywhere, and we need good science evidence that the fungi can work and naturally. And let's start with Ohio. My name's Trad Cotter. I'm a mushroom
No fun guy.
expert and have been studying and researching mushrooms and what they can do for food, biofuel, and even environmental spills for the last 40 years.
40 years. So, mycoremediation is the new buzzword. This will be the cover story when people start noticing fungus growing everywhere. Oh, we sprinkled some fungi on over there because we thought it might help clean up the mess. I mean, I'm not saying that this is what happened, but this could happen.
Remediation is a term that uses fungi and bacteria to remediate soil and water. True remediation, I'd have to say, would be not moving the chemicals, like most companies do. They are permitted to move them and dispose. So they're disposal.
So wait a minute. Let's think this through. So people have gotten the chemicals in their body, right? Obviously, they're exposed to this. Oh boy, look at this. 555 is 666, isn't it? Whoa. So if the fungi are eating the chemical, wouldn't that go into people's bodies and try to eat the chemical in their bodies? And like, what's that going to do?
Experts. And so where they're going, they'd be going to Texas and Michigan. I've seen that. The locals don't even know that Ohio waste is coming to their town, to a Superfund site. And then you have the possibility of leaking on the road.
I'll put a link to all this in the pinned comment. But this guy says that we should sprinkle fungus all over everything, and it's going to help clean up the spill. Wow. Now, YouTube has been on a flagging campaign recently. I've had several of my recent videos flagged by YouTube. Fortunately, they got unflagged after review, but this is a new phenomenon, and I think it's tied to the whole TMan thing that's going on right now. So we're going to have to start using the word TMan again instead of the other word of his real name, so we can play these little preschool games with YouTube, right? And especially if you say his name over and over again in a live broadcast, it can flag the video. So even if you're saying things that are not sympathetic to him, that should be a huge red flag. So the honey trap campaign is in full effect. You start talking about him and the situation, they are immediately targeted. As the right and left work together, the T-man sets them up and the left knocks them down. It's like batting practice. And now that their latest operation fizzled out, I'm sure that they're going to be regrouping. But let's check in and see how much he's raised so far for his defense fund. I'm going to scroll this down so you can't see his name because they have screen searches and all that. Unbelievable that we have to deal with this day and age. So he's raised 1.5 million so far for his defense fund, at least as of last week, probably approaching 2 million by now or more. So the longer that this false arrest goes on, the more people will probably send money because it's still up in the air, right? And I have to ask the question, what do you think that the people that are sitting in jail right now are thinking about all this? Well, they don't have a voice anymore, do they? And neither do their families. Because anything talked about on social media is construed as insurrection. And if it wasn't for people like us who choose to remember these people, forgive them for being deceived into showing up, and praying for the T-man to do something about it, anything, then these people would be forgotten. These are thousands of the most brave of us rotting in jail because they got tricked. Wouldn't a more effective campaign be to demand a release? Wouldn't that really garner the T-man's base? Wouldn't that be a better strategy right now for him? I mean, I would lead with that if I was campaigning right now. That would be my opening statement. I would make a fundraiser, raise tens of millions of dollars overnight, and that would send a real message, wouldn't it? Instead of this T-man show that we're getting. It's the T-man show. And he wants us to feel sorry for him and send him money. So, weird. So, today's theme of the show is the controlled demolition of America. And part of that right now also is the controlled demolition of Twitter. Now, I told you guys this back when Elon Musk was talking about purchasing Twitter. I said this would just be a controlled, slow demolition. And, I mean, when you think about the strategies that these people use, the strategy is don't challenge your opponent. Just join him, take over the car, and crash it into the nearest tree. They've been running this for a very, very long time. This is the strategy. Don't fight the enemy, join the enemy, and then take them out. And it works every single time because people don't understand the right-left paradigm. They think that there is a good side and a bad side. And at the top, there is no good and bad side. There's one side. And that's the maintaining of control. So, Musk's Twitter, valued at just $20 billion. It's lost most of its value. I'm sure at some point it will fold, along with all of the right-leaning people that jumped on Twitter thinking Elon Musk was a hero. The days are numbered. Now, the controlled demolition of America is in full effect with yet another chemical spill. Now, anybody watching, putting all the puzzle pieces together, have to be noticing the sustained attack on the environment in America. The attack that Greta seems to have literally nothing to say about. I mean, it's in all of our faces. Here they are nitpicking us because of a gas stove that leaks out micrometers of, gas. And these people are literally destroying America all around us with no consequences. Now, I don't believe these are accidents. Here's the latest one. Philadelphia officials say drinking water remains safe now after a chemical spill in the Delaware River. City of Philadelphia says it is now confident that tap water from Baxter Drinking Water Treatment Plant will remain safe to drink until at least midnight following a chemical spill in the Delaware River. Now, most people don't drink out of the tap anymore, but we're getting to the point now with the pollution in some of these waterways and things that you can't even shower in this stuff anymore. You're literally putting your safety at risk, even taking a shower or touching this stuff. And that's sad. That's just sad. So, I'm sure a lot of other channels have gone into great detail about this particular chemical spill. If you're interested in that, go check those channels out. I just wanted to let you guys know what's going on here. And as the frequency and magnitude of these quote-unquote accidents continue to happen, it appears as though it appears as though we're in the turn of the last century. I mean, you didn't hear about accidents like this over the last 20 years. Not in my memory. You read about stuff like this. You read about, 3 Mile Island or whatever? And here we are, and this stuff's happening at record pace. Now, even chocolate factories are at risk in the controlled demolition of America. Many people are billing this chocolate factory explosion that killed 7 people in Pennsylvania. What is up with Pennsylvania? Pennsylvania is like under attack, as well as Ohio. This is crazy. What is happening here? We've got chocolate factory explosions. We've got trains derailing. I mean, Pennsylvania is downwind from the train derailment. It's right there on the border. And the weather patterns take all of that toxic cloud right over Pennsylvania. So, was this really about Ohio, or was it really about Pennsylvania? So, 7 total people died in the chocolate factory explosion in West Reading, Pennsylvania last week. And I wanted to take a minute to look at the deeper meaning of why this chocolate factory exploded. You guys, we are in the year of the cat and the rabbit in the Chinese zodiac, and though we do not follow or try to divinate with this stuff, or follow the zodiac or astrology or any of that stuff. The enemy does, and the controllers do. So we can observe that and call them out on it, can't we? The year of the cat and the rabbit. Now, why do they follow the zodiac and all this stuff? Well, they follow it to maximize their sorcery. It's almost like they're playing out their own book of death instead of the book of life. So, here we are, 2 days from Easter is when this happened. And look at the logo for R.M. Palmer Chocolate Factory. It's a rabbit. Now, what does all this mean? Well, I looked up both of the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory films from 1971 and 2005. And guess what? They mention a rabbit exactly one time in each movie. Here's the 1971 script. Let me read this. If you are not spoiled, then you will go far. You will live in happiness too. Like the Oompa Loompa, Doompa Dee do. The children are disappearing like rabbits. And then again in 2005, exactly one mention of a rabbit. Daddy, I want a squirrel. Get me one of those squirrels. I want one. Veruca, dear, you have many marvelous pets. All I've got at home is 1 pony, and 2 dogs, and 4 cats, and 6 rabbits. 4 cats and 6 rabbits. 46. Half of 46 is 23. The explosion happened 23 days before Easter. The year of the cat and the year of the rabbit, right there in the script. Now, what's happening here? Well, I believe this is supernatural. So, Easter is upon us, and I have no doubt in my mind that this chocolate factory was full of chocolate rabbits. So, with all the clues that I just identified, I believe that spiritually this is what the chocolate factory and all the melted rabbits are really about. We are the rabbits. Now, let's get into a quick energy update. Yes, the egg too, Danny. And the rabbit hole goes very, very deep. Because, remember, this pagan form of Easter that we've been given has been completely hijacked. The rabbit and the egg is really all about the Ishtar fertility ritual is what it is. And the Orphic egg and the cult of Tammuz and all of that has nothing to do with Jesus. Now, let's get into some energy updates today. Now, in the UK, they are straight up telling people that they will pay significantly more of their income to energy. This is out of the Telegraph. Can you imagine realizing that a significant amount of your income is now going to go to energy? Now, we talked about this, didn't we? Now, they weren't saying this in the beginning. They weren't saying that, oh, you're going to pay a bunch more money by switching everything to electric. In fact, in the beginning, they said, we're going to save money. We're going to save money. And they tried to tell us how great electric was, right? But now they're saying net zero race will mean higher energy bills for up to a decade. So basically, indefinitely. And we said this was going to happen. I told you that as soon as they got everyone to buy into the electrification of the world, then they just simply set the price wherever they want. Whether it be 25% of your income, maybe even up to 50% of your income. Soon after that, they'll make, using your own energy illegal because you have to burn something to stay warm. They'll say that's illegal. You're polluting the environment. You have to be on the grid, and we are going to set the price. So this is what's going on in the UK and in certain states of America. New York already telling people, New York State, that their energy bills are going to be higher to pay for this net zero, and California as well. And we know that when things happen in New York and California, it's rolled out to the rest of America. Now, tomorrow I'll be premiering a re-upload that we did on the wheat and the tares. We had found that the tares, or the weeds, were copper based, and that they carried a type of mold fungus, a deadly psychedelic mold, and that people that ate the tares often had hallucinations. And I think that that is fitting, that re-upload is fitting, and will fit into exactly what's happening right now. Then the day after that, we're going to decode the 2011 Smurfs movie, where the Smurfs emerge through a portal, through a whirlpool portal, underneath Trump Tower. And then later in that film, Gargamel escapes over a wall right in front of Trump World Tower. You can't make this up. We're also going to show you Trump Jr. I said his name. TMan Jr. and him calling his family Smurfs all throughout his social media posts. Weird times, you guys. Weird times. The Smurf Matrix. All right, you guys. Oh, by the way, what was the guy that starred in the Smurf movie? I'll leave you on this note. Here's the film here. Look at this. Right. Wait a minute. That's Trump Tower right there. That's it right there. In the thumbnail of the video. That's it right there. And you ready for this? I'll leave you on this note here. This is Neil Patrick Harris, Doogie Howser. In this role, he plays a straight man. Later, he would come out as going to the other side. Main character. And look at his birthday. Welcome to the Smurf Matrix. One day after the T-Mans, of course, for those that don't know. All right, I guess we could do a little Q&A for a bit. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for showing up. The girl Smurf is a TG Ender. Now, in the film, Smurfette reveals that it was Gargamel who created her as some kind of infiltrator to get into the Smurfs' stronghold, of which there are 99 Smurfs, in case you didn't know, or in case you're still on the fence about the 99 red balloons and what it means. There are 99 Smurfs in the movie, and Smurfette admits that she was created to infiltrate the Smurfs, but then Papa Smurf basically turned her back to the light side. But you always wonder if Smurfette is some kind of provocateur. And I'm sure if you read between the lines, you would see that maybe possibly she was the one sabotaging everything. I don't know. But anyway, what a weird reality we live in, right, you guys? What a weird reality. It's amazing that God has given us eyes to see all this. Some people think this is a big waste of time. I don't think it is. I think when you're given spiritual eyes, if you try to dismiss that as a waste of time, you're basically rejecting a gift that God is giving us to understand our spiritual reality. And I don't want to be the person who blasphemes against the Holy Spirit. If God is giving us visions and understanding, to reject that is kind of like rejecting the Holy Spirit. Rejecting understanding. This is why I stay on the task. No matter what anyone says to me, calls us crazy, I reject it. Because I listen to the Holy Spirit and what God is showing us. Okay? Don't listen to man. Listen to what God reveals to you. Now, the amazing thing as many of you have been given these eyes to see as well. 90% of the stuff we cover on this channel comes from you guys. In fact, the idea to look at the Smurf movie came from you guys. So that's the Holy Spirit working through you and trying to show you and opening your eyes. Now, what is the purpose of all this? Revealing this? Well, obviously, a lot of people are still asleep to the TMan matrix, aren't they? So if they were to see something like this, this would help wake them up. So they stop giving their consent to evil, right? So, I love each and every one of you guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll hopefully be in the chat tomorrow. I am going to be kind of in the middle of moving, but it is a premiere, which means I might be in the chat. But if not, we will be live day after that with the Smurfs movie Decode. I love each and every one of you. Have a great rest of your day. Take care and be safe.